All right, so
We're good.
are we recording?
I think it's about time we ditch the schedule because it's just not. We're not running on the schedule at all now.
Yeah, I'm down with that, and I don't think anyone else is going to mind either. And like for my own little YouTube show, I do a little YouTube show which I've just done a recent episode. I said that to myself as well. I'm just going to do them as and when. There was a period of time when I was doing them like daily. At one point, I was filming so much stuff in a day, I could chuck something together in the evening, and then there was a point where I'd go for weeks and weeks without doing it. So I just think we just do it as and when, as long as they're numbered for posterity. I don't think the schedule really matters anymore. I don't think we live in a schedule day and age. You know what I mean? I don't like living by exact times of things, if I can help it.
Well, yeah, it's nice to have a schedule, but it's not necessary. Not unless you're being paid for it.
Yeah, exactly. And we're not yet. So actually, we are being paid with. Actually, no, there's no way I can spin that in any way. That we are 100%.
There's no financial compensation.
100% no. So so down with the schedule and up with the podcast. So I am Leon C. This is Chris P. And even though I say that, it's just the wording. Oh, we should do what we did last time, where you can put a title of what it is we're speaking about.
I'm pretty sure the first.
And again, we won't even.
Earlier.
Yes.
Cool.
Whack it on up, and like, this would be a good way to segue through to our thing. So, Chris, what are we speaking about? And then you type it up. But that can just change as we go. I mean, if we suddenly tangentize in as we do, as we're known for, as it's our gimmick, wrestling, then I actually hate that as well, what I just did. Like, even though I didn't do it in the way that it came across. So like sometimes you always hear in wrestling, you must have heard it, where people are just like, wrestling. I hate that. And I just did it, but I didn't do it in that way. I was doing it because you literally wrote wrestling. So I was like, wrestling. I realized it sounded like I was doing that classic, it's almost a meme, but it's not. And it's just like wrestling, when somebody does something in a match that is like, because it's wrestling, so people are like, wrestling. I hate that. I think it's lame. Anyway.
Oh my god, for fuck's sake.
Do you know what I'm on about though, don't you? Do you?
No, sorry, my friends. No, my friends just met. I've been like having this phone call.
Oh, I thought you'd be laughing at me.
No, my friends, I've had this text message with my friends for the past 5 minutes because he messaged me something quite important. He was like, has this person rang you yet? I'm like, no, why? And he goes, it's all about financial stuff. And this person who we both know, who deals with financial stuff, the only person that made this to mind was our mortgage advisor. And I thought, oh, is there something going on with our mortgage? Is there an issue? Anyway, turns out I completely had the wrong person, got really confused, and it's nothing to do with my mortgages, and I'm fine. And I'm like, fuck's sake. I wasn't worried, but I was like apprehensive. Like, is my mortgage going up? Like, what is it? No, nothing completely unrelated to that. Anyway, sorry. That's why my
that's all right.
didn't split that much between you and other things. So it was like, this was quite important. Anyway,
well, we've already established we're not being paid for this, so there's no need to be professional.
I mean,
why bother?
I'm not even professional when I'm being paid for my work.
Same.
Oh, Christ.
Actually, no, not same. I am in some degrees. It depends what I'm being paid for. If I'm being paid to, I don't know, I don't know. It depends on the context. I'm sure there's some scenarios where I'm being paid where I will not necessarily be.
Maybe that's why I've
anyway
that high in a professional manner, because I've never gone to work like and been like really extremely professional. I've always gone with quite a casual attitude, but not like a casual as in, it doesn't matter if it doesn't get done. Just doing it casually. I'm not fretting. I'm not nervous. Like, I'll do my job just in a casual way.
I often find that doing your jobs stress-free in a casual manner like that will actually more often than not get the jobs done more quickly than if you stress about it and try and be all professional, like and you end up, and then you end up just spiteful.
It's like when you are, you know what Ofsted is. You know what Ofsted is, right?
I know what.
You know what Ofsted is?
Ofsted, yeah.
Go to schools and stuff. Well, I used to work in childcare, obviously, as you probably know. Ofsted will actually come in and inspect it, and like they tell you they're coming in, and then like everyone will be like, ah, they lose their heads, and they go and act up and actual professional shit. I'm just sat back going like no, just do your normal stuff. If they come in and say your normal stuff is not good enough, improve your normal stuff. But if for 2 days a year you're at 100% and the rest of the year you're at 70%, you're doing a disservice to yourself, your employees, your employer, your company, the children, and the parents. So it's just like
it's kind of like when you see in the movie. It's like you see in the movies when they're kind of like, be cool, play it calm, and so everyone's just like, it's just like that's not playing it cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Okay, so
it's a little bit more aligned than an Ofsted inspection, but yeah.
So let's talk about the hot
I don't even
news,
think we started
hot off the press. You what?
I don't even think we started on wrestling, so we can't really get back to it. But anyway, yeah, let's go. So there's really only one.
Well, yeah, let's get back on track. Let's get back on track then. So yeah, take the lead.
Obviously, there's two things. There's two. There's SummerSlam. I think there's three. SummerSlam.
There's three.
What's the other one? The NXT one. How have I forgotten its name?
Takeover.
That one. There's SummerSlam Takeover Rampage, which I watched 2 out of 3. I didn't see Takeover.
I'm still catching up on all 3. I have not watched any of it.
There's only one important thing from Rampage, let's be honest.
There's only one really newsworthy thing that is like everywhere.
There's a few things from SummerSlam worth talking about, and I've not really seen. Yes. I know the results of NXT, but I don't really care as much about it.
Okay, so for me, I know the majority, if not all, of the results for SummerSlam. I haven't watched any, but I know some of the minutiae. So my opinions just to put it out there for the record, my opinions would be slightly skewed, having not seen a lot of this, but knowing what's happened. But it also, we can correct each other if need be, and if the universe wants to correct us, then we welcome those. And I know nothing on Takeover, but of course, for the sake of the podcast, I'm not shy of spoilers.
Have you seen the results?
I want to know. No, I don't even know the results. So this is going to be live reaction results.
All I know from NXT is Joe beat Cross, or at least Joe has the title.
Oh.
So I assume Joe beat Cross. But to be fair, after they sent Cross up to the main roster to get jobbed out to Jeff Hardy in 40 seconds, you can hardly have him bossing around just Samoa Joe. It just wouldn't be. It would be a bit shit.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
But apparently that's all because there's some kind of internal struggle between Triple H and people that don't think Triple H is good enough to leave after McMahon's gone. So people are trying to undermine Triple H by dropping out his biggest stars. Which
I feel like there's some irony. Sorry, carry on.
I mean, all I was going to say is it's fucking wacky, but in WWE that line of story is completely believable. That people are jobbing out NXT stars to get back at Triple H.
And I think that it's almost ironic that what's most interesting at the moment about when you look at WWE and that kind of politics that we hear about, wouldn't it they want to? I mean, they've looked at reality shows and they have the reality. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, that does work. Okay, carry on.
Okay, thanks for that. So we've looked at. No, don't apologize. Apologize to the audience. So when you look at the inner politics that we hear about, and this kind of and the speculation, that is what's interesting to me about WWE. When you look at how things are happening and you think, oh my God, was that Vince? did Vince just do that to get back at him, or are we looking into it too much, or do they not care, or is it this, or they're oblivious? It's one of those things.
I would think. I don't necessarily think Vince McMahon would do it to get back at Triple H. I can imagine there are people around Vince that will convince Vince for other reasons to do something without knowing that their actual intention is to get back at Triple H. I don't think Vince will do anything to actively. I don't know really, but it
just feels to me that like it feels. I hear the phrase used where it's like one hand doesn't know what the other hand's doing, and that's the vibe I get. And I sometimes think that like the least scandalous explanation is probably the most true, because it's kind of like the most boring one. But at the same time, like they could. I don't know how. I'm not saying I've definitely got the answers, but they've done reality TV shows like with
the original NXT, Divas Evolution,
the Bellas,
Diva Search. Oh, you mean Ms. and Mrs.
Yes. So they've got these type of reality shows.
Yeah.
That I'm surprised there's definitely. I mean, I'm not into those kind of shows, but for what I am interested in, right, in WWE. It's that kind of politicking between Vince and all of these wrestlers looking for his approval. And we see in the documentaries, and you hear in the podcast and you hear in the interviews, Vince is kind of like I'm most interested in seeing what is crazy Vince doing now, you know? And like, I think if we had a show, like you think about like the Osbournes, but if it's the McMahons.
Just follows Vince McMahon everywhere. That would have more viewers, right? That would.
Yeah. And if we're seeing Vince like getting angry about matches, or saying this guy's like coming up with insane ideas, like did you ever hear about Christian about the story? I mean, like again,
the blue
who knows how much truth? Yeah, like he didn't like Christian's face, so he had an idea to basically always have a blue dot over his face.
Yeah.
And like just the madness, right? That like this old guy spouts. Because for me, he is like the most entertaining personality within WWE. He is the most interesting personality.
So I'm thinking sort of like The Apprentice with Vince McMahon, being like, here are 12 hopeful writers.
Give me that.
Go through 12 weeks of writing. And then each week one gets fired and Vince has to comment on their stuff. And like, Stephanie McMahon takes the role of...
I want to see him tearing up the script.
Yeah.
Oh my God. They're missing a trick with this, because when we look at the booking, right, because you then, I don't know if you kind of you follow it or you lead it with it, but like you look at a takeover and a SummerSlam weekend, and then you've got like the McMahon show that builds to that, or builds and shows the outcomes, almost like a BTE, a Being the Elite, but it's the McMahons. Like I think there is. At this point, they've almost got to take the piss out of themselves, which maybe they tried to do. Maybe that is what they're doing. But like, I think like the interesting things are not even what is on the surface. It's all about the speculation of what's happening and why this, or why didn't this, or why does this make sense, or in most cases, why doesn't this make any sense? You know, I think that's what's fascinating about it. And it's WWE, that is, at the moment.
So we sort of went on a bit of a tangent there. So that was one match worth of tangent. And we've got like pay-per-views to get there. So
okay, let's start chronologically.
No. I want to do this like least interesting to most interesting.
Okay.
Plus, we've already started on NXT, and NXT only has 2 matches worth I know about. So that's we've done Cross losing to Joe. The other one is Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. What do you expect? What do you think would happen?
So it's okay. So I'm just getting the results up on screen.
Oh, I know.
So just to touch very quickly, just on the final thing on Samoa Joe and Karrion Kross.
Oh yeah.
I just like that whole thing just seemed to be a case of like they like oh, you can almost imagine like whoever it is, whether it's Triple H, whether it's whoever, going up to whoever else it is, whether it's Vince, whether it's whoever. Karrion Kross just lost to Jeff Hardy in a couple of minutes. Like, we just build him up for a big match for tomorrow, Joe. Like, oh, like, who? Like, are you? Didn't Joe get fired? Like, you know, like, and it's always like,
that guy, did we fire him 3 months ago?
Yeah, like it's like, oh shit, man, sorry, dude. Like, we'll make it up to you. You can get a win next week, and then like it just feels like that was all just an oh shit. Oh God.
To be fair,
or like you can.
There's a few of them reactions coming up this week, I think, or in this podcast. There's a couple more.
Sweet. And just before they go out, like just before like Samoa Joe goes out to face Karrion Kross, it'd be like, oh, just remember, like, you know, like you did tell Joe that he's going over, didn't you? No, you did tell. No, sorry. We're on Raw. Kross is going out to face Jeff Hardy. Kross has just left, like Gorilla, and he's going out down the entrance, and he seems slightly miffed. And the producer guy said to the other guy, "You told Kross he's going over, didn't you?" And he's like, "Huh?" Like, what?
Well, this guy, I saw an article. Do you remember a few years back when Brock Lesnar won the Money in the Bank?
Yeah.
He came out right at the end of the match.
Yeah, apparently, I do. Yeah.
I saw an article from Mustafa Ali, and he said he was meant to win that, and he was literally in Gorilla about to go out, or around that period, and the match was already going on, and he said, yeah, you're not winning it. Do the finish as normal, but when you get to the thing, just wait and then look shocked. And then they sent him out, and like he had no idea what was going on until Lesnar turned up. Or
it's mad.
Something ridiculous like that, and it's just like it's so haphazardly booked.
I've seen it once at a show. Like, I won't say who or the promotion or anything, but it was just like it was pretty funny, and there was no hard feelings really. I think it was just an honest case of misunderstanding for whatever had happened. Yeah. And two guys were both in the ring, and both of them were convinced they were going over, but like luckily they were like good friends, and like as soon as they come back stage, it was like, shit, man, like what happened? Like, you know, I swear, like blah blah blah, like, I'm so sorry. And it was all that, but like you could imagine it going completely the other way because they just kept kicking out of each other's shit. and they were frequently surprised when the other one did. Like
that does confuse the audience when the performers don't know what's going on.
Yeah, so that falsie was a real falsie, like, you know, and just, like, you know, the shock on the face was legit shock, like amazing. Amazing. So it ended up going on longer. Yeah. And in the end, one of them just conceded, like, okay, like, go on then, which I just was so funny. Anyway.
When we go offline, I should kind of want to hear the details of that story.
I will, yeah. So, okay, so Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. So, Kyle O'Reilly wins then.
Yep. I mean, out of kayfabe reports are Adam Cole's contract's up soon.
Yes, that is what I've heard.
He's off to AEW.
Yeah, there was like another caveat to that is, I don't know if caveat's the right word, but another kind of add-on to that story is like I wasn't familiar that Adam Cole had a Twitch channel, like quite good, like something that he like. Yeah. He does Twitch and he's like loves it. Yeah, I didn't know that until recently. So apparently he loves it, and he's like gone on record on there saying like, I will never ever end my Twitch channel. So people are saying because WWE have reportedly told fucking talent that they're not allowed to have their Twitch channels, that he is either
made for him.
Yeah, so well, I mean, it's either that he's exempt in whatever deal he's got if he's staying with them, and he's going to get to keep his Twitch channel. He's full of shit, and he's not going to keep his Twitch channel, or that he is actually leaving. Of course, his missus, Britt Baker, is on AEW, doing extremely well. She's a fucking good wrestler as well.
Just on a tangent in itself, that whole Twitching is a complete overreach by that company. An absolute joke of an overreach.
I understand them saying like that we don't want you to make money from like our product that we've made. I get that, but for the most part, in fact, continue your thought because I feel like you were going to touch on that anyway.
They can't. Adam Cole can't go out and wrestle for fucking Ring of Honor as Adam Cole whilst contracted to WWE. That's fine. That's sensible. If fucking he wants to go on, is his real name Adam Cole? Like, even if it's not, people will know it soon enough. He could call it Lampshades and Wrestling. And after a week, 90% of well, I mean, like a proportion of fans will know who it is and what he's doing. They have no fucking
anybody's
control over
watching
what
it.
they're doing. No control over
Yeah,
it.
I think it's like if your name is John Smith and you wear blue and you're all about rock and roll music, and then WWE take you up and say your name is now Paul Johnson and you wear red and you're all about reggae music, jazz, and we're building this whole product we've put you on is 100% thought of from WWE, and we've given it to you, and then you perform it exactly how we tell you to the letter, and then you go big, then maybe there's some precedent for like, we don't want you to go on Twitch as this character, go on Twitch as your old character that you made, but not as our intellectual property. That I totally get, because then it's like you're using WWE's product to make money for yourself.
If owns the license to a name, you probably legally can't use that name. But like I said, even if WWE owned Adam Cole, he just calls it Lampshade Wrestling. Bang! He's not making money off that name. He's using it his fucking face, which he fucking owns.
And I don't know what like the true legalities are, because Keith Lee there was reportedly some Keith Lee issue, but ultimately Adam is not something as a name I believe any company should be able to own, and Cole as a name is not something I believe.
I'm pretty sure WWE owns John Cena as a name.
Probably, but like it's like the thing is with Adam Cole, right? Super charismatic guy, fucking sick wrestler, like great, but he is not like a flavor that like when he goes on Twitch, he's Adam Cole and he's speaking and he's playing games and he's doing whatever as Adam Cole and his name's Adam Cole. That is not inherently, if I'm watching that as the non-informed, there is no way in how I equate that with WWE. You know, like that is a bloke called Adam Cole who is doing something on Twitch. That has nothing to do there's no way WWE can kind of claim any
authority or ownership.
That joke he just told, playing that game, that little quip, like we wrote that. It's like, no, like, you know what I mean? There's nothing you can claim there that is because of WWE. Like, you know, I can't imagine many people watching Twitch and be like, like if it was like Hulk Hogan on Twitch and it got like a load of things. I mean, even now, I don't know, but like that feels more like something WWE could say, oh, you wouldn't have 50,000 people watching you if it wasn't for us. Give us a cut. I just think with Adam Cole, it's just like, I can't imagine people watching him on Twitch just because of WWE. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like WWE can kind of claim any money.
Guess that's where the problem comes in, because those waters are so murky. Because if he goes on there and happens to, by offhand, mention his match with Kyle O'Reilly, is he then profiting off wrestling stuff from the WWE because he's mentioned it on his stream? And possibly legally, you could argue yes.
So but then also, I mean, based on the way WWE talk about how their people aren't employees, they're contractors.
That's a whole fucking
for me, it's like, well, for me, it's like, well, you paid this contractor to paint your room. Can't you tell anyone about the great paint job they just did? Do you know what I mean? Like you've done a job for a company, pun intended, and like now you can talk, you go talk about it, and if anything, it's free advertising for WWE.
You think that's the only other thing I'm thinking is maybe if like they're on Twitch as Adam Cole WWE or something, and then he says something that people find to be controversial, and then backfires on them. But even then,
there's that as well, yeah.
But even then, you can have like something in the contract saying you must not use derogatory language on any platform whilst using your WWE licenses. I don't know. I'm sure there's got to be. It just seems such a shitty way for them to say no. The only way you can earn money is with me and nothing else. That seems to be what it's about.
Yeah, and it also seems really petty because, like, for the amount of money that they'd be making from Twitch, like, it's the drop in the ocean to what WWE have, you know. Like, and when you divvy it up, it's not like it's going straight into McMahon's pocket or
maybe that's another worry in McMahon's head. He's thinking, well, if he gets so big that he doesn't need to wrestle, he can quit here and we'll lose him, and he'll go and work for peanuts anywhere else because he's making 5 times as much on
Yeah.
Twitch. These could all be things in the cauldron that's just stirring around in some executive's head somewhere.
And again, calling back to what's really interesting about this company and what we want to see, seeing these conversations, hearing that conversation from Vince, you know, even if it's semi-scripted, getting some insight as to what they kind of claim to be the reasoning behind things. Man, I just think they're missing a trick. Like, get the McMahon's a fucking reality fly on the wall TV show, because I think that should be fucking brilliant. I think that'd be funny as fuck. So let's start from so it's a 2 out of 3 falls.
Oh yeah, but it was really good. I never actually watched it.
Oh, I do. It's a 2 out of 3 falls.
First is traditional.
I'm just bringing up the first one. So first is traditional, and who does the fall go to?
I have no idea. That's literally all I know is the results.
Kyle O'Reilly gets the first fall. So I mean, do we know how long the fight was in total?
I know nothing apart from the headline with the results in.
Okay, so the second fall goes to Adam Cole, and then that was a street fight, and then the third fall goes to Kyle O'Reilly, which was a cage match chosen by NXT General Manager William Regal, and Kyle O'Reilly takes the win. So, and I'm just seeing what it says here. After the match, Kyle's music hits as some fans start I'm guessing bullshit chant. I'm reading this on wrestlinginc.com as well, just for any credit given. I haven't made my own notes or anything. Cole clutches his knee and pounds on the mat while still down. Kyle is still cuffed to the top rope as crew members start to take the cage down. Kyle sits up as we go to replays. Kyle is finally uncuffed now. He looks on, clutching his ribs while 2 trainers help Cole away from the ringside area.
How did Kyle O'Reilly win whilst being handcuffed? How does that work?
I have no idea.
What the hell? Maybe we should watch this before discussing it. Maybe one of us should watch these things in future before we talk about it.
Definitely. Okay, so we won't talk too much about the ins and outs. We won't talk too much about the ins and outs. Sloppy reporting.
If Adam Cole taps out in the cage, I really want to see how, let's carry on with our things. I'm going to, on the sly here, watch NXT TakeOver on the app and see how this man, because that sounds really fucking interesting.
Because the way it makes out here is Kyle is so the way it makes out here, I'll go back, I'll read it as it goes. So Cole delivers a blow in the middle of the ring, which is legal. Cole keeps control and walks to the top rope, then leaps from the top rope for a big Panama sunrise. Panama. Sorry.
Panama.
I read it like banana. Panama sunrise in the middle of the ring. Kyle somehow kicks out just in time, and Cole can't believe it. Cole pulls out a pair of handcuffs and fastens Kyle to the top rope now. I feel like in my mind, these are going to be the WWE super long handcuffs that are like totally impractical. They have the super long ones that you can just do whatever you want with, which is hilarious. Cole pulls out a pair of handcuffs and fastens Kyle.
There was a match between Vulture and Dragon?
Yeah, mate. And I can't wait to see that match, because like those two have the best matches.
I'm just skipping through it, and it's just like a big. I'm not going to say anything, actually. I don't want to spoil it for you.
Yeah, don't spoil it. I know the winner.
I mean, we know what it's going to be. Who was it?
Dragunov.
Oh, nice.
Which kind of justifies. Dragunov lost, but we won't get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. But we'll get to that when we get to that in a minute. But so I'm kind of really intrigued by the end of this Kyle O'Reilly and Cole match. So
is this the end of it, or are we still going? I mean, the rest still there.
We're still going. So Cole.
I meant on my
Cole. Oh, right, okay. So Cole pulls out a pair of handcuffs.
Oh shit! Kyle O'Reilly hit a fucking back of the head knee. What do you call that?
V-trigger.
No, this is Adam Cole. You're not dead. What's Adam Cole call it when he hit back of the head? The knee to the back of the head.
Shining Wizard?
No. Well, he went to do that. He fell dead, and Kyle O'Reilly hit him with one. Damn it, that's annoying me now. What's he got? The Panama Sunrise and the. I don't know. Oh well.
That is actually annoying me now. We'll come back to it.
No.
I want to finish this line.
Yeah.
So Cole pulls out a pair of handcuffs and fastens Kyle to the top rope now. Well, Kyle is trapped. I don't know if that's how they've
Here we go. Handcuffs.
Card is trapped between the ropes and the cage wall.
Yeah, they're
Cole
about a foot long.
Yeah, I knew it. Cole talks trash in Kyle's face and goes to work on him, as that's probably happening as we speak. Cole yells at Kyle to get up, then delivers another super kick. Kyle with more trash talking while Kyle is chained to the top rope. Kyle catches a super kick and takes Cole down into a heel hook submission as Cole screams out. Cole taps out for the finish. So I kind of felt it would have to be long handcuffs for him to get this submission while handcuffed.
Put it this way, right? They're at least at full strength. They are attached to the front rope, to the top rope.
Yeah.
And they're going past the middle rope.
Okay.
Full stretch. So they're just past the middle rope. So there's probably a foot, maybe.
So it's like, I definitely think as well we should watch Season Future and do our own notes. It'd be funnier.
Well, that's what SummerSlam's going to be good. So I actually watch SummerSlam, so we can have a bit more of a. There's the catch.
I vow on default tangent to watch these events before we talk about them in future.
Is that it? Like that's how it ends. That seems a bit of a. I don't know what happened in the rest of it. It seems a bit of a.
Well, look here we've got here.
Easy finish.
After match, Card is finally uncuffed now. He looks on, clutching his ribs, while two trainers help Card away from ringside area. The referee raises Card's arm in the air, but not all fans are celebrating the win. And then we move on.
Yeah, it just seems like, for one thing, Adam Cole is clutching just below his knee when it was a heel hook. Like, surely you'd be clutching your heel, not your knee. But yeah, like it seems.
I don't know. I think it does create the whole idea behind the heel hook is it does like kind of create torque all the way up to your knee.
Maybe.
I believe.
My overall thought.
Because like Kyle O'Reilly knows his shit, so he would have probably like Kyle O'Reilly knows his shit when it comes to that stuff. So
like a little bit of a nothing special ending for what was a massive feud in wrestling. But I suppose if they're trying to dumb down Adam Cole before he leaves, that's what they do, isn't it? WWE like bury people before.
And I think like didn't it like just from the vibes I've got, like their feud felt like it just kind of already come to an end. You know?
Yeah, I thought this was like done long. Like I don't watch NXT much.
Yeah.
I feel like this was over a while back, or at least it started a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's weird how they're taking the cage apart. They're like doing it by hand, but they're not just like lifting it in one big go. They're like
maybe it's the arena.
Separated the corners. Yeah, that's what I think of. They can only do it so high. Yeah, I don't like Adam Cole in green trunks. He always looks a little bit too. I don't know. I don't like green trunks. Especially not Adam Cole.
I like green trunks. I was a big fan of. Who had some green trunks before? There was a pair of green trunks in particular I thought were good. I think green and yellow don't get used that much.
I know he's got green and yellow. It just looks a bit. Yeah, I don't like it. It feels like very bland. One super kick to the face, and then the cat. Anyway, yeah, that's it.
So I guess with the majority of these matches, because we haven't seen them, it's really more about the result and more about the match itself than more about the result than it is about the match itself.
Yeah, definitely.
Dragunov versus Volta, right? So we've both seen the first match that they had in NXT UK. They've had other matches in other companies, so it wasn't their first match, but the first match that got kind of global recognition, which was just my favorite match personally in the last couple of years. No audience, on probably one of the least known products, WWE.
It felt more like a shoot than a match, to be honest, because it was just two people just beating the piss out of each other.
Yeah. Like I've always said, I love matches where it just feels like the people, like the wrestlers, are just destroying each other. And you've commented in the past, oh, we should watch MMA, and I was like, no, because it's the presentation of wrestling that I like.
Yeah.
So I want to see that, but with the wrestling template over it. And Volta vs Dragunov for me was like the perfect example of that. If you look at like a lot of old school, like late 90s, All Japan, a lot of tag team matches, like people like Stan Hansen, or even if you look back at like just a lot of the All Japan matches they had, which were just brutal, like Misawa and Kobashi, just brutal match. If you like Dragunov and Volta, go watch any All Japan. I'll send you some links in a bit. Like their all matches are all like that. Like it's fucking brilliant. Like they're nutters, man. But Dragunov Dragunov himself has this like super. He's super intense, isn't he? Like he's so intense. Like
he looks like he wants to kill you.
Yeah, he looks like he wants to kill everything. Like he looks like he is like just frothing at the mouth, like insane.
Oh, Jamoa So.
Jamoa So.
Jamoa So is wrestling like slick.
That's the kind of thing I would call my wrestlers back in the day on the game if I want to copy somebody, but then like have artistic license. Like Jamoa So. I used to have Zeph Party. Instead of Samoa Joe, I had Hawaii Blake.
Hawaii. That just sounds like the most white guy name ever.
Well, I've got artistic license, you know.
All right, let's All Japan's hard hitting. Let's move on because we are. I don't know what we're on, but we got.
Let's move this. We'll move through these quickly then. So Dragunov Volta, can't wait to watch it. Dragunov wins about. Kind of seems like it makes a bit of sense because the other week he had lost to Pete Dunne on NXT, which is still a match I have not caught up on. Which was kind of like he's running for the title. It doesn't make sense for him to lose, but he would beat Pete Dunne. But now it kind of looks, in hindsight, now we've got a challenger for him in Pete Dunne, which is kind of why I thought Dragunov was going to win this. No, so basically 2 weeks ago he faced Pete Dunne on NXT. He lost to Pete Dunne leading up to this takeover match, and it was like, why have you made the challenger lose to Pete Dunne? Because now it's just like, shouldn't Pete Dunne now be the challenger? But now, in hindsight, that's given us a challenger in Pete Dunne to Dragunov, presumably. Although I still don't think that beating Dragunov on the way up to a championship match is doing anybody any favors. But whatever. The following week, a match which I fucking like. I don't think I've actively wished for it, but if you'd mentioned it any time in the last 5 years, I'd have been like, oh yes, please give me that match. It was Roderick Strong versus Dragunov, which was last week on NXT. I watched that match. Sick little match. Very cool little match. It's just like what you'd expect from both those guys. Hard hitting. At one point, Dragunov gets busted open, and I think it's like, I'm not sure when it happened. I think it's when like possibly Roderick landed on his face or something, possibly, but he's busted right open. And I think they actually called the match to a close sooner than necessary because of it.
Yeah.
But it was fucking good. It's fucking good. So this now leads up to Dragunov Volta. Based on every match they've ever had before, you know it's going to be good. I'm sure it's an absolute banger. I haven't watched the highlight or any of it yet, but I'm sure it's fucking awesome. What are you watching right this second? That
Joe and Cross. Oh shit! That's been a while. Muscle Buster.
Save that because I feel like we're on a cross section now. You're going further into the future, and I'm going further into the past.
Yeah, it's just they banned Samoa Joe's Muscle Buster after Tyson.
Oh, he's done the Muscle Buster.
Yeah, that's what I was like, oh shit about, because they got rid of that for a while. But I'll tell you something. It was almost like when Kevin Steen used to do that like power bomb thing into the turnbuckle with their neck, like the reverse power bomb.
I think so.
Basically, it wasn't like Samoa did. It was like a Muscle Buster. But it wasn't like he did a traditional suplex. It was like he tried to arch his back more, so the person landed more on their lower back than their upper shoulders. So it made it safer.
That sounds horrible.
No,
I don't know, lower back. That sounds nasty.
No, it's more like landing on a suplex than a brainbuster because it's got more on the receiver's lower back than their shoulders.
Are you saying it sounds more like a double fish suplex, a double fisherman suplex?
It was his muscle buster, but normally he drops them back more onto their shoulders. This one I felt like Samoa Joe arched his back more, meaning that Karrion Kross landed more on the flat of his back than the shoulders, i.e. making it safer than a muscle buster.
I never saw. I'll have to go and check it out again. A reason for me to watch these things before we review them. But yeah, so we'll come back to that. We've moved well on from Samoa Joe.
So, I mean, it was just right after the Karrion Kross one. So I thought, as that's here, there's no point me.
Fair. So now we're going back. We're working our way backwards, which I feel for the next two events we're doing forwards. I reckon. Even if I don't think we're going to do many matches on Rampage, though. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. I've got no interest in this match really. I've not followed anything that's happened leading up to this. I know kind of what's happened in the background, but I've not seen any of it.
NXT?
So yeah, NXT women's title.
Not at all.
The winner is Raquel Gonzalez. I think I could have probably predicted that.
I mean, she's like the size of like Karrion Kross, so she probably should be winning.
I mean, it might have been a good match. I don't want to dismiss something because I haven't seen it, because like I could go and watch that and be like, oh, do you know what? Dakota Kai versus Raquel Gonzalez was actually sick. So I don't want to dismiss that because I haven't seen any of it. I don't know any of the story that's led up to it. So
I think that was it. That was it for NXT.
There was Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight.
Oh, wicked! I know the wrestlers in that match.
Cameron Grimes is really good. Like, Cameron Grimes is worth checking out. I followed this little storyline, but I've not seen any of it. Mostly it's comedy by the looks of it. But LA Knight is kind of like, you could call him like NXT's version of a cross between like a wannabe Rock and Austin, kind of, but he's a really good wrestler. Kind of. Like, he's a good wrestler, but he's kind of a cross between those two. I think that's kind of what he's going for. And Cameron Grimes is just sick. So Cameron Grimes wins that $1 Million Championship. You've got the $1 Million Man involved in their little storyline. From what I hear, it sounds quite funny stuff, but you know, whatever.
Wait, what are we talking about now?
That was Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight.
On what show?
NXT still.
Isn't the $1 Million Man with... That's the $1 Million Man
LA
with
Knight,
AEW?
I think. No.
Oh, yeah.
Ridge Holland versus Trey Baxter. Ridge Holland had a disgusting injury the other month, didn't he? Do you remember that?
Nope.
He caught Oney Lorcan, and like his knee and his ankle, or both knees, or both knees and his ankle, some combination of that, just got messed up badly, and he basically collapsed in the moment.
Whoever you're talking
and
about
was like screaming.
On NXT.
It was on NXT.
Not Takeover.
Oh, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
The NXT card is Grimes and
pre-show.
Knight.
Could this be in pre-show?
I don't think Takeovers have pre-shows.
Yeah, well, NXT 36 pre-show opens with Ridge Holland and Trey Baxter.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so that was pre-show. So anyway, so that was that. So that's NXT, and I feel we didn't do it justice. But from what we read there, I think that sounded like a pretty okay show.
To be fair, having neither of us watched it, we're not in the best position. But I mean, just for Walter Dragunov makes it a worthwhile match to watch anyway. So.
And probably Cole and Adam Cole as well.
Probably. Oh yeah, but that was more of a story, whereas Walter and Dragunov is just worth watching as a visual. Because
and I do want to see Karrion Kross and Samoa Joe. And now that I know Samoa Joe wins, I want to go and see him win that match.
I'd say it's more you want to see Karrion Kross lose as opposed to Joe winning, but I mean,
yeah. I don't know, because I like Joe. I'd never really go on about how much I like Samoa Joe, but I really do like Samoa Joe. I think he is fantastic because he's very much akin to that old school All Japan style. Like, if you watch, there's a famous match from Ring of Honor with him and Kobashi. Watch that. I'll send you a link later. It's sick. I think it's. Oh yeah, it's so. What was that about? What was that gasp of breath for?
Something completely unrelated to anything you care about.
Okay. So Samoa Joe versus Kenta Kobashi is on YouTube.
Yeah, that I was listening to. I was just waiting for the link for that. I think you already said to send me about 8 links, so we'll see where we get at the end of the day.
Yeah, let's see how many links I remember to send. So, then let's talk about SummerSlam.
You haven't watched any of that, have you?
I haven't watched any of it.
I say I watched the whole thing. I watched the whole thing, but I watched it in parts because I watched some of it on the night, but I fell asleep, so I caught up in the morning. It was what was on?
So we start from the top.
Yeah.
And so this is a kickoff match. Big E versus Baron Corbin. This is from, I'm getting these results here from CBS.
It wasn't Big E versus Baron Corbin. It was somebody else.
Here.
It was somebody else versus Baron Corbin, because Baron Corbin robbed Big E's briefcase earlier on in the night, and halfway through the match, Big E came out and took the briefcase back. So
Well, that is what I've got. CBS Sports are telling me.
it was somebody else.
And if I'm looking at a GIF, I'm looking at a GIF from SummerSlam of Big E and Corbin.
Yeah, they did stuff together, but the actual match did not have. Did what?
So who's his first match then?
I
love
remember.
how much of a shambles we are.
But I'm sure I watched Baron Corbin was to come out and face somebody, and then partway through Big E came out because Big E didn't even have his wrestling gear on. He was in street clothes.
Yeah, I've got Big E here in gear and Corbin in street clothes.
Yeah, but that's Corbin's attire at the moment, isn't it?
It's always been his attire, isn't it?
No.
Well,
he's gone for he's gone for this like bum character now. He's got money begging, so like that's literally his whole thing.
Which is just
I'm just gonna...
a joke in itself. Well, let me read this report then. 2021 SummerSlam results. Big E versus Baron Corbin kickoff match. Corbin quickly found himself in because if you didn't watch the kickoff match and you're straight into the show,
which is
then maybe you've seen something else after. But Big E versus Baron Corbin. Corbin quickly found himself in the clutches of Big E, who tossed Corbin around with some big suplexes. Corbin was able to roll out the way of a splash on the apron, allowing him to build a little bit of momentum as he repeatedly tried to get the referee to count Big E out, all while yelling that the Money in the Bank briefcase belonged to him because he stole it. Big E nearly picked up the win with a stretch muffler. Great move. Submission before Corbin was able to hit Deep Six. I don't know what that is. For a near...
You know when John Cena does his like back body drop?
Yeah.
It's like that, but they'll run it Corbin picks him up and does about a 360-degree spin and drops him on their back. In the same kind of motion as the John Cena's drop. So yeah, similar.
Okay. Pretty cool. Corbin gave up on trying to win and instead grabbed the briefcase and unsuccessfully attempted to run away before being caught and hit with the big ending for the finish. A fine if unspectacular. Well, that's opinion there. So yeah, so in that match, Big E went, and I've also listened to a report talking about this match as well. So yeah, I don't know what you were watching, but Big E definitely faced Corbin.
Did they fall asleep there? I mean, I don't know.
I was watching an anime film yesterday, fell asleep in the middle of it, and could have swore I'd watched it, and then when I watched it back, I was like, oh man, I missed so much. I was like, that was okay. And then I watched about I was like, I fell asleep through 45 minutes of that.
Yeah,
solid.
A lot of this happened last night, Saturday night when I was watching this. So yeah, that one obviously wasn't memorable enough. And that's I'm thinking that it was on the pre-show when Baron came out running away from him.
I feel like what's happened is you have come into that match just as it's coming to an end, and it looked like Baron was facing somebody else and Big E's interrupted. But what's happened is you just got the end of the match between them both.
Yeah, but that was the kit. Maybe.
And also, I think we're definitely devoting too much time on this.
Yeah. All right. Well, the next one I've got up here was AJ and Omos versus RK Bro for the Raw Tag Team titles. It was passable. I can't remember who won. It was RK Bro won.
Yes.
Which I was kind of happy about. I don't actually, from what I remember thinking at the time, I don't think Omos. I think he was in for like a very short amount of time, and that was it.
That's what I've heard. Yeah. I've heard he was barely in there.
Yeah, I remember him like not being in it for whatever reason. And I think they won with just an RKO. So there was a little segment, not a promo, but it was like a recap, which they all do anyway.
Has it looks Randy Orton's got a goatee, but really all I can see from this is just the mustache. It looks terrible because like I can't see the goatee as much as I can see the mustache. I can just see the mustache. And when he's running around, it looks like he's got a Hitler mustache.
Yeah. Oh, I will say they had one of those curling.
Randy's fucking great.
Curving entrances.
Not for that, but just for like.
I don't like them. I don't like entrances which like curve through the crowd. I hate them.
So who does this?
The entrance way. It wasn't a straight line like normal. Oh. There's just a curve in it, a bend. I don't like it. It feels off.
I am a big fan of weird and random entrances because for a long time, one thing I'd not liked, I'm not even sure why I don't like it. I don't like the stage and the ramp. I used to like it. Like I like it when they used to do events that were like long flat entrances.
So do you like AEW's ramp, which is level with the ring?
I do prefer that. Yeah, I do, because like WCW had that years ago. New Japan used to have that years ago. Other companies have like toyed with it. ECW have had, like, they had it in sometimes, and like if you go back and watch some of the old retro shows, they used to have it sometimes. They were just random and all over the place. But I think I like personally, I think it's from the games that I've got this, because a lot of the time now, because of the screens, and they can just put different designs on the screens. For the most part, 90% of the show's entranceways all look the same, and they just put a different graphic on it.
Yeah.
And like that bugs me. I like it when they have just like, even if it's not as grandiose, just something that looks a bit unique. So like when you go and play
definitely.
like when you play 2K, 2K19, the last one I played, there's like an old retro WCW arena with like the fucking gold, all these like gold fucking I don't even know what you call them. It's like tassels, I guess, but it's like just, it's all gold basically. So that's the kind of thing. I don't know what it is. It just looks different. I liked when AEW did, like they sometimes run like a camera, and it's almost like diagonal to the ring almost. Kind of looks a bit like Fire Pro, and then you see the people coming in, and the ramp is like coming in off an angle. I don't know. I just like different arenas, and I always feel that every single show, even if it's like every different Raw or every different SmackDown or every different Rampage or Dynamite, like I just want them to look a little bit different each time.
Yeah, they do get very samey after a while.
Yeah, so even if it's like low effort, just different. Sometimes like the old Royal Rumbles, like I was watching a load of Royal Rumbles the other week on YouTube from all different eras, and sometimes they'd have like, I like it when like the ramp, we can see the ramp. Like I used to like in the games as well, where we can see the ramp, like that camera angle, which is what Dynamite has. I do prefer looking up as opposed to like looking at it side on, so that the people aren't coming on sideways and we're seeing up the ramp.
Yeah, I do
still
like
things like that.
They did that for a brief bit in the pandemic era, didn't they? Where they had like I think that was because they had no fans in the Thunderdome. They were just trying to be a bit less obvious that it was empty.
Yeah, like AEW did it first, and then like the WWE caught on. That is probably a better way to do it. And I just think in general, I just like it. So yeah, that seems right.
What was next?
Yeah, so RK Bro win. Alexa Bliss and Eva Marie. I've just heard that this was just bad.
I don't remember this. That says a lot.
I just heard
that was it.
Really bad.
Because that woman with the weird name turned on her at the end. From what I remember, Alexa went for the pin. Eva Marie was trying to get weird name lady to help, and weird name lady just didn't help. And in the end, she just got a promo saying something basic like, "This is why you don't win anything," and just walked out or something.
Isn't her name? It's Viper? Fucking Piper Niven. He's a good wrestler. Doudrop.
That's the one. Yeah. It was. Yeah. It was I can't work out how you go, Bray Wyatt, you're done. Eva Marie, would you like a wrestling match on a big full pay-per-view? It's like, let me eat this dog shit and throw out this steak. It's fucking beyond belief.
100%. Like, it's pretty evident that like with
who the fuck fires Eva Marie because she's shit and then brings her back? Like, who the fuck is running that company?
I think it's pretty evident in WWE that the most important thing is how you look. Like, that is the most important thing in WWE. Like,
there was an interesting part. I'm just like forward fasting now. And where I think Alexa, Eva Marie just took that little doll and just started slapping it around, which...
Well, I'm watching a gif of that.
I've dumb as fuck, but it's just a little bit funny.
It's just like, I
know it's you say about how people look, but from a personal perspective, and this is going to sound weird, I find Alexa Bliss way more attractive than fucking Eva Marie.
Well, but what I'm saying here is they're both clearly very attractive, and they're both getting TV time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but at least one's got an interesting character, even if she's working most of the time with a literal.
Which one is that?
Not Eva Marie.
What? Alexa Bliss is an interesting character.
More so than fucking Eva fucking Marie.
I think they're both equally uninteresting, but for different reasons. So like, Alexa Bliss's character is a female fiend, but she's just like, I think it's awful.
I will admit, I wish they.
I'm intrigued by how terrible it is.
I will admit, I wish they picked someone like Mandy Rose, who wasn't a good cat, or they took one of the strongest women and made her this thing, when they should have taken one of the weakest women and made her this thing. Because
I think
I loved Alexa Bliss before the feed. Like, I thought she had a great character.
Yeah, I've got no issue. Alexa Bliss was fine as the Alexa Bliss classic character. I think that I honestly don't think even the Fiend should be the Fiend. I think that that is a character that we can get rid of and not give to anybody. I don't think that character is doing anything for anyone.
I think it's
bad.
I don't necessarily think it's bad. I think the idea is good. It's like WWE, they can take a good idea and give it a shit execution, but then you will get that one wrestler that takes a shit idea, i.e. Damien Mizdow doing the stunt double stuff. That idea is shit, but he fucking made it good. He went a bit like Stardust. It wasn't great, but the person made it watchable because of they threw themselves into it.
Well, I think I was listening to an old Al Snow interview, and he was talking about how he thinks that the reason why a lot of these characters failed is because they are just that. They're characters when wrestlers aren't necessarily actors, as much as they might want them to be.
Yeah.
Wrestlers are reactors, and how the most of us, and we've both been this in the past, it's all about taking yourself and turning yourself right up, you know, and I feel that nobody's the Fiend, but for instance, Undertaker's not really an Undertaker, but man, he is the Undertaker, and the Ultimate Warrior wasn't an actual warrior in real life, but he was that persona, and that was him amplified, and it kind of turned into the warrior. So I think that it
can be done. I think
it can be done, but I think for the most part, you want to take what people are and amplify it, rather than just say, hey, like I mentioned earlier, you're a blue guy who likes rock and roll, but now you're a red guy who likes jazz.
I think what Bray Wyatt always had is it always felt like there was more to that Swamp character than just the basic smooth talking Southerner. So I feel like it could have been a good evolution if handled right, but as always, it was WWE, so it was handled wrong.
Yeah, because for me, that character now is just completely enveloped in red lighting and cheesy.
To be fair, let's move on from
tactics.
this, because there's a bit more Bray Wyatt later on.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard the rumours, but
I have heard some. So we'll get back to we'll get to that. So United States Championship, Damian Priest versus Sheamus.
Lol. My friend, we were discussing this match beforehand, and my friend was like, I was like, what's on the card? He goes, you got Sheamus versus Archer. And I'm like, Lance Archer? No, wait, Lance Archer's AEW. What do you mean? Oh, I don't know. He's like the Archer dude. You'd like the bow and arrow thing. I was like, oh, yeah, Damian Priest, the Archer of Infamy. I was like, I remember that. See, it makes sense. He was right. He was wrong, but he was right.
Yeah, the Archer of Infamy. So how was the match? I heard there was a moment where he lands on his ass hard. Damian Priest, that is. Damian Priest goes for a dive and lands badly.
There's something in my memory of that. I can't picture it, but I do remember thinking there was something like that. So I can't say it. I remember something, but not enough to be having a comment on it.
Do you know this? I heard the stat. Damian Priest has not lost a one-on-one match since joining the main brand.
Really? That is.
Yeah.
That is
they've actually protected him and booked him like a tough guy.
Let's be honest, though. I don't think they've, air quotes, protected him. I feel like this has just happened by pure coincidence. No one's gone, Damian Priest, let's book him really strong. He's just happened to have been booked well purely by accident.
I agree. I think that when everything is booked all over the place, right, that just by some fucking fluke fucking chance, someone gets booked well. It's like a broken clock is correct twice a day.
Yeah,
it can happen. That's funny.
I do like Priest. I feel like, though, the issue with him is like, I say the issue with him, like, I feel like he's more of a cult person. Like, Damien Priest, he's got the whole Priest name. I always assumed he was some kind of like, what was that guy from TNA who Elijah
Chris
Burke
Daniels,
became?
Fallen Angel.
No. Elijah Burke became like.
Oh, the Pope. Was he
the Pope, D'Angelo
the
Neal.
Pope?
He's always had that feel about him. And the fact he's called the Archer of Infamy, I feel like there should be more of a cult background to him. And there
Agreed.
isn't. So I feel like there's something missing there, because he's tall. He's a big ass guy. Sheamus is a big guy. And Priestley
I think he's like
bigger than Sheamus.
6'4". I think he's like 6'4", 6'5".
I feel like if they were to go down a whole like culty, he could do better.
Yeah, I feel like agreed. I feel like his gimmick, the Archer of Infamy, what does that even mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
What does that even mean?
There.
That means nothing. Yeah, that just sounds good. So I think that you're right. I think he should have like a kind of like you say, like a kind of a cultist, maybe something like Chris Daniels, like the Fallen Angel type deal, like like
that was good.
Like something like that. I agree. I think like because the name Damien Priest is a pretty good name as well. So it's like
they could do more.
It's a really good name actually. Yeah, I agree. I think that if you give him some kind of like dark, broody kind of cultist type gimmick, that would just go hand in hand. And I think that's kind of that's missing. That's probably what's missing from that. Because he's a good wrestler.
I'm not the biggest fan of his finisher though. It's the what Cody Rhodes used to do, the Crossroads.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but it's called something else now. But it's the Crossroads.
Because I'm just looking at a GIF. On each one of these matches, there's a tweet from WWE on Fox, which just shows a GIF, of a moment from each match.
Yeah.
And this is he's just going for a sit-down choke slam, which I think is a sweet finisher.
Yeah, it looks good. I like that. It did look good.
That's a sweet move. I like that move a lot, actually. That's a great big man move. In fact, I've probably got my way to watch that. That match seems all right. So the Usos versus the Mysterios.
No. Actually, there's a bit in between that. Equally interesting.
Okay.
An advertisement for 2K22 with a little bit more information. You're frozen.
Okay. No, I'm cool my end.
Yeah, but I'm on recording, so.
Oh well, I'll unfreeze.
So yeah, there's a bit more a bit more previews of 2K22. And have you heard anything about it?
No.
It's now a release date of March 2022. Because it's being included in the WrestleMania season of merchandise.
What? So, how do you mean? So people are buying?
No, as
in
they're using it around WrestleMania they're probably using WrestleMania to sort of boost its sales, kind of thing. That's when that's the window they're releasing it.
That would make sense.
If you haven't seen the screenshots of Edge that were released, I'd say go look at them because they look very good. Like,
oh, good. Okay, because I saw you send something across to me the other day, and it looked bad, and it was Edge. And
that was the 2K20 version.
Yeah.
But the 2K20 won the screenshots. Now, every year there's always one wrestler that is given a bit more love than the rest.
Wait a minute, hang on. Is it 2K21 or 2K22?
2K22.
So there is no 2K21 then?
No, it doesn't exist. They skipped that one.
That is weird.
No, they took a break. They literally said 2K20 was such a dumpster fire. We're not going to release one next year. We're going to have extra time to build up the next one to make it better.
But doesn't it feel like with the Olympics, it was the 2020 Olympics?
Yeah.
I almost feel like this should be 2K21.
No, they did.
10 years time.
They had to skip it. Go on.
But in 10 years' time, when we look back at all the games, there'll be a 2K20 and a 2K22, and there's not going to be any 2K21, and it's going to look weird.
Yeah, but that's because it was shit. 2K20 was so bad they had to, and I give it to them. They released Battlegrounds though. Remember?
No, but I mean, I'm happy for them to. I just think they should call this 2K21 instead of 2K22. Just call it that.
Yeah, but no, because they can't release a game in 2022 called 2021.
They did it with the Olympics. They can do it with this.
That's because that game was ready made for 2021, but they couldn't release it in 2021.
I mean, they did it with the real life Olympics. Was on TV as 2020 Olympics, and we're in 2021.
Yeah, but that was because of the pandemic, though. That was.
I know
reasoning.
But that is a much. There's much. What do you think? This is a good question, and I wager it's Olympics. What do you think had more money invested in it, the Olympics or the SmackDown 2K20 games?
I'm going to guess the Olympics.
Same here. So this is like small fry compared to the Olympics. So no one gives a fuck. Like I contradict myself at this point because I'm like, no one cares what it's called. Here I am caring about what it's called. But like, call it 2K21, just so that when you look at them all lined up in your games library, it doesn't look like you've missed out one. For the completionists and the collectors, it's going to be like, this feels gross. That's all I'm thinking.
We are going to have to pick this up, because I'm pretty sure we're an hour and 5 minutes in, yeah.
Oh shit! Right, let's paste this. I've just brought up some images on Google of 2K, and it looks sick. Like graphically, I was looking at the one of Edge, looks nice. One of Rey Mysterio looks incredible here.
It's the Edge one, that's the important one. But we can save that for the gaming related discussion.
Yeah.
So it was Usos versus the Mysterios. Usos won.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
And didn't seem like they're building up to some kind of rivalry between
I've
Rey
heard
and
that,
Dominic.
but there was nothing. I think I fell asleep in this match. I had to rewatch it the day after, although I might have skipped this one. From what I remember, I don't think there was any seeds set in this one yet. So there's rumors off screen, but nothing on screen has seemed to suggest there's going to be anything major.
Oh, Dominic's gear looked good.
Yeah, he does look quite a good wrestler. And Rey Mysterio looks short as shit.
Well, he is.
That would be.
I'll tell you one thing. Rey Mysterio, hands down, right, of all time, some of the best gear. Like his boots, just the colors, his masks. Just he always looks fantastic. Like, you know what I mean?
He always has a great. Whoever he goes to or designs with is top quality.
Unbelievably iconic gear. I love Rey Mysterio. He's so good. He's one of the best of all time. True living legend. So this next one's controversial.
Oh.
Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch.
Oh, that mess! Crikey, that was
This was built up and sold as Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair.
Yeah, but there was so many. You're still frozen, boy. There was so many rumors that she was gonna. That this match was pulled. There was so many rumors, and then when it was announced, when it was like still advertised, there was a bit of, especially in the house I was watching, there's a bit of suspicion. Bianca Belair comes out, and then the guy's like, "Oh, what's her face? Sasha Banks can't make it. She's replaced by Carmella." No, everyone's like, "Yay, Carmella, woo!" So she walks out for fucking ages, and then just about to announce it, Becky Lynch's music's hit. She comes down, gets given a title match. One punch, one rock bottom, and that was it. She won. It was like a massive fuck you to Bianca Belair.
That to me smells like, for whatever reason, Sasha Banks can't attend. For whatever reason.
Apparently, it was known 8 days ago that she can't attend.
Which is fucking crazy that they didn't just do something different.
I've got a theory, which was kind of blown out by events later on, but I'll cover both when we get to the end. Okay,
so that's sloppy. And then it feels like, oh, Becky Lynch just had a baby. We don't want her to hurt herself. She's not even trained in X amount of time. So let's just have a real nice easy match.
Yeah.
Like, it feels to me that they didn't want, she's not physically ready to be in the ring. Or she doesn't feel like it. She's physically ready. And I'm all about that. Like, don't put something in the ring that doesn't feel that they can physically do it.
Don't give her a bloody championship either.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to see someone who's not in ring condition in there hurting themselves.
I have a theory as to why they've done that though, and again, it leads to later on. So
okay, so they've just quickly did that to try and make up for the other thing. So that just seems like that. But yeah, we'll move on. I mean, that ultimately is BS, but it feels like we're going to kind of come back to that.
Yeah, we will. Possibly. Okay. We will, but anyway, okay, next one.
Yeah, so the next one we have is Jinder Mahal versus Drew Galloway.
Couldn't give a toss about this match.
He's got a shaved head now. Jinder Mahal
got
rid of one of the things.
I
think he doesn't look bad in any way, shape, or form. But when you have thick hair like that looks pretty good, don't fucking shave it off. I know you're a bad guy, but
I feel he looks better with it.
I would have loved for a head of hair like Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
Like that is a sweet haircut. Because even if I like grow my hair out, it's not going to be the same. He had like real nice hair, man.
You can always get it back. Who won? Did Drew win?
Drew McIntyre defeated Jinder Mahal via pinfall.
I think it was a Claymore.
You know what though? Those are two absolutely classic templates of like maybe not so much Drew, but of WWE type big wrestlers, big muscly guys.
They're both a little bit smaller than they were, especially Jinder. He's definitely lost a few bit muscles on him.
Not for that bad a thing though. He looks alright though. He still looks good.
Oh yeah, he still looks big. But I mean, when he came back for his title run, he was roided, should we say? I am like kind of a fan of Jinder. Like I don't necessarily go on my way to watch his matches, but something about him when he's a bad guy with that belt I liked. Like when he was a champ, like he was the kind of he had the I think, and maybe I'm wrong, it just felt like it wasn't purely like go away heat. It felt like, oh, we want the belt off of this guy. Like and he's just there laughing at everybody with it. I just kind of liked it. There was definitely some go away heat there because he didn't deserve that. He came out of nowhere and just took it. Like there were other people in mind.
I don't think that like for me though that title doesn't mean shit. Like as a viewer, that title has zero prestige. It goes from whoever to whoever, whenever. Like that title means nothing. Like if somebody gets the WWE title, it's like obviously that's a big deal.
Skipping ahead a little bit here to the last two, because it's very relevant here.
Okay.
John Cena, Roman Reigns, take the title away. That is still a banging match with a story that doesn't need a title.
Okay.
Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg, take that title away. That is still a banging match. Doesn't need a title to tell a story.
Oh, really?
So, they're both big, meaty, beefy fuckers. They are both people who have had big streaks. They've both had big titles. I think that story writes itself. It's just two people that want to see who is the best fighter. I don't think you need titles to put them in a match.
They're like superstar level guys, aren't they? Like you can use the word superstar with those guys.
Like you were saying about
celebrities.
The title not meaning anything. You can take both titles away from those matches, and I would still want to watch those matches.
Yeah, which I don't like. I guess like I got conflicted feelings on like the WWE titles because I just feel like there is nothing there anymore.
There's definitely other promotions where the titles mean more.
Definitely. All right, so let's move back as we move forward. So Nikki Ash, but it's Nikki ASH. From what I know of this gimmick and storyline, it just feels like tragic.
Well, put it this way, I'd rather she won over fucking Charlotte Flair.
Oh, I no issue with her herself, but ASH, almost a superhero. Like it's fucking bad.
Like I've seen, I think it's the not Jules Baldwin on WWE on What Culture Say. It's not for him, but it's for kids and it's working. So like, leave it.
Is it working though? I don't think it is working because she's also, if it's for kids, like as a parent, that is such a terrible role model. Like, oh, I'm the champion, but I could almost do this. I think I can almost win, and then you just lose every week, and then you just lose the title. I like, and it's like, oh, I almost did it, but you're the champion. Messy, tragic, awful. The name Nikki Ash is meaningless. Nikki ASH sounds like just the worst creative idea. Well, idea's creative, but it's just the worst idea I've ever heard. I just think everything about it is awful. Big ups to I can't remember what her name is now. Nikki what? Cross. What is it? Yes, Nikki Cross. Why not just give her the title and just let her run with it a bit? I think her as a champion says more than giving her a stupid gimmick and then burying her as this geek. But anyway, yeah. So I don't really care about this match. Nikki Ash, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley. Charlotte Flair wins again, and from what I've heard, it just sounds like they're trying to get her that same moniker as her dad with the whole 16 championship. Let's go to the title.
Hot shotting her to the top by giving her like, I think someone said most of her title reigns have been less than 30 days, so I'm expecting her to lose it before the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, and I actually want them to now follow through that, make that be a parody of yourselves and go full on. Edge versus Seth Rollins.
I had to watch this the day after because I fell asleep during that triple threat women's match.
Yeah.
I literally slept through the whole match, not because of Edge and Seth Rollins, because of the women's match beforehand. So
yeah,
I watched it the day after. Obviously, I love Edge. Who doesn't these days? Seth Rollins. You ever play Far Cry 5? With the three brothers, Joseph Seed, rural America. Basically,
who was the main bad guy in 5?
Joseph Seed, suited guy, long black hair. Basically,
No, I didn't.
Seth Rollins. Basically, I feel like Seth Rollins played that game and stole that gimmick because it's a preachy, holier than thou. I am the second coming. You will worship me. I love it. It's exactly the same. I'm not mocking it because I think it's fucking great. So I enjoyed the match. The finish, I think Edge won, which I was happy about.
Defeat Seth Rollins via submission.
Yeah, I think it was. You know how Benoit did his crossface with like the arm through the legs?
Yeah.
It was that, but with a sleeper, which I thought I'd never seen before. So I thought that was quite
cool.
unique.
Yeah, I've never seen that. That sounds pretty good. I'm just looking at a GIF now of Edge,
really cool.
which looks like he's setting him up for that move, but he's got the arm between the leg and he's just smashing Seth's head into the floor.
Yeah, he's just like bam, 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 crossface. So
pretty good move.
I'm never gonna not like a match with Edge in it, even if his build is the greatest in the world. Happy Edge won. I'm hoping he goes on to titles now. I'm kind of hoping at one point they get the title back on Cena and have an Edge be Cena for the title and go proper fuck off the marks to go old school.
Super quick side note. Did you see Christian versus Kenny Omega?
No, the one with Christian won. I did not.
Yeah, good match. Very good, because it was like, I've heard it described in a couple of different ways, but after watching it and thinking about it myself, I like to think of it as like Christian kind of did his thing, Kenny Omega did his thing. It was not a styles clash. You've got a Christian style match and an Omega style match at one, and it worked really well, and I fucking loved it. It was just a good match demonstrating this is what Christian does and can do. This is what Kenny Omega does and can do. Here's how they collide, and Omega gets cocky, tries some heel shit, flips on a banana basically because he falls for his own shit. Christian gets the win. Really good. I watched that online, streamed it somewhere.
Well, I have to check that out.
Yeah, it was good. It's fucking good. I highly advise watching that one. It wasn't very long either. It was in it felt like 10 minutes. Just that is like a nice, easy to watch, good, entertaining match. Christian's great. Kenny Omega's great. Yeah, I think you'd like it.
Next one?
Next match, Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg.
I assume you've heard about this. It was like it was thrown out because of
yes,
Goldberg's knee. Like I kind of there was some good things in this match. Like the fact I feel like they're going for another match because you can't have these two big beefy guys have that match and then that's it. Basically, it was going all right. They both got a bit of offense in, and then I think Goldberg was going for a spear, and then MVP hit him in the back of the knee with his cane. Funny thing is, it hit Goldberg, and then about half a second later, he reacted and started limping. So I can't work out in my head if it was a botch or if it was like he's been hit, but the adrenaline holds it back for a second, and then as he tries to walk, he starts hurting, which doesn't feel realistic. But I kind of, in my head, it kind of worked a little bit because it was like he's hit, and then Goldberg, for a second, feels it, and then he turns to MVP, feels like, did you just hit me? And then limps as if it was like a delayed reaction, which I couldn't work out whether I liked it or I didn't like it. But then Bobby Lashley went to work on the knee, and eventually he just couldn't give up. He couldn't carry on, so the referee threw it out. Then I can't remember if there was a bit more beating on Goldberg, but Goldberg's son attacked Lashley from behind.
Yeah.
Then Lashley instantly got him into the hurt lock, at which point this kid just sort of passed out. So Lashley puts him down, and MVP gets on the mic and says, and I kind of agree. I don't know if this is what's meant to happen, but I kind of agree. MVP's like, there was no way Bobby Lashley knew that was Goldberg's kid. He had got attacked from behind, and that was it. They legged it. They fucking legged it. But I kind of like what he said because it was kind of believable. Like, it was literally attacked, grabbed hurt lock. Oh shit, that's a kid. Put him down. Obviously,
Yeah,
Goldberg's
and-
still going to fucking go crazy at him. But there's plausible deniability on Bobby Lashley's part.
And what was Lashley supposed to do? Just not attack back somebody who's attacking him?
Yeah, ironically, right? Fuck the time limit. We're probably past an hour and 20 now.
Yeah.
Fuck it. We've gone past you. So I don't know if you've seen what happened in Marseille yesterday.
No.
That was really bad. Do you remember the Euros when England fans were actually like bellends at the final? I'm sure you must have seen some of that. There was a bit of that. Basically, it was a team called Marseille versus Nice. And Nice fans had been peppering the Marseille players with bottles all game. And a Marseille player went up to take a corner and got hit with a bottle. At which point, he'd had enough. He turned around and threw the bottle in the crowd. I have no fucking problem with that. He shouldn't do it, but he's a fucking human. No problem with that. At which point, the crowd just banged onto the field. 30, 40 crowd support just banged onto the field. There was fucking huddles everywhere. Loads of issues. And it got called off. But basically, my point is, there was a video of one of the Marseille coaches just walking alongside the support on the field, clocking him in the throat. The supporter goes down and the coach just backs off. It's quite funny. I'll send you the video. But I said to my friend, and I actually said to him, this is kind of related to not related to the Bobby Lashley thing because it's planned. But as I literally said to him, it's not. I said it's slightly different, but it's just, in wrestling. If you cross that barrier, what happens next is on you. Yeah,
100%.
So, like you say, wrestlers have attacked fans for coming even into the ring in the past. Not even attacking them, just being there.
Yeah.
So, like you say, it's not Bobby Lashley's fault. This is kind of a meta thing.
Yeah.
If someone was to attack Bobby Lashley, I wouldn't be against him for returning fire.
Yeah.
So, he has got deniability.
Again, a lot of the time in WWE, the heels, part of their gimmick is that they're always right. They come out and they say something and it's like, they're just talking the truth.
Like when Daniel Bryan had the whole eco-friendly belt, it's like he was a heel, but he was right. Like, it doesn't always work.
Well, that's what I mean. They used him as a bad guy. But everything he said was just like hard to argue against.
Yeah, they're the worst. It's the worst and simultaneously best kind of bad guy. Obnoxiously right.
It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
It was great. So moving on, next match.
Final match.
The final match, which is it is Roman Reigns versus John Cena.
Yeah. I wanted Cena to win. I want him to get those 17 because I just like the guy. I know he's so controversial, but I feel like him, the person, he's such a genuine person that I can see. He deserves it. For all he's done, for the years of service, the Make-A-Wish, the crowd reaction, both good and bad. He's probably the best. He's not the best wrestler. He's the best wrestling performer of my generation, I think.
Well, I think he doesn't. I mean, I think this is he doesn't need that belt. I think it's
that's fair.
He like you said, you mentioned you can take the belt away and you still want to see it. For him, he can use his star power to lift everything else. And at this point, he could lose, maybe not every match, but I mean, he's got other things going on. He's a movie star. And I think for him to just get in there and give his all in a match and have a good match is kind of all it even needs. But I almost think if you put the title on him, you might kill it off too soon. Use him sparingly,
Oh, that's what they're doing. I mean, they can't use him too much anyway because of his Hollywood commitment. So it's almost a perfect storm for him.
And I think it's a funny one with Cena because his gimmick being this rapper, I mean, it kind of isn't that now, but it's even when I see him wearing his jeans and his trainers, it's I don't know how long he can keep going in the ring like this.
It was on that documentary
without looking a bit
about
silly.
the Attitude Era when he turned around and he said, I can see we're going to PG. I need to stop with these rap battles because I don't want, like, I'm a face now. I don't want kids to go out and do these kind of things to their friends. Like, he's sort of changing. He started stepping back from that rap persona himself.
Do you know, I would even change gear-wise for him. I think that rather than wearing jeans and trainers now, he should wear something more akin to even what Roman Reigns wears, where it's more like black khaki shorts and like Timberlands or boots.
Can you imagine wrestling in Timberlands? I can barely imagine walking upstairs in Timberlands.
Not Timberlands, but like something akin to what Roman Reigns wears, like just some kind of boots.
Yeah.
Like that aren't even if it's wrestling boots.
He's been wrestling for 20 years. There's no point changing now, is there? What would it accomplish?
No, because what I mean, I mean exactly that does that as well. But when I see him now in his trainers and his jeans, and I know that he's not like when he first came along, he was a youthful hip hop guy.
Yeah, it does feel a bit out of touch for his age.
It feels because now he's like a man, and it's like he wasn't like he was a boy before, but you know what I mean? Like now,
there's different.
And he's like a legend. Yeah, and now he's like a legend as well. So like seeing him there in just a pair of trainers and jeans feels quite low rent for him. And I just think even if he had just a pair of like, either it was like, you know, not high wrestling boots, but either just boots, some kind of boots that were like not trainers, and like shorts that could still be like exactly the same shorts, but just black maybe. Just something that didn't look adult. Something a little bit more adult, but something a little bit more like combat-y, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like just a little bit, not a lot, like just a little bit. I just think that like when I see him now in these trainers and jeans, it just feels a little bit. If it wasn't John Cena, anyone else would look awful in that. You know what I mean? Like it's because we know him as John Cena that he manages to pull it off. But like, if somebody came out in just jeans and trainers, you'd be like, oh, it's not good look.
Well, yeah, we all, I don't know if I know your opinion on, you don't like people wrestling in non-wrestling gear. So you've already
I've eased on it. I've eased on it over the years, but I still don't like it.
So this match, the whole story of this match was like John Cena's 1, 2, 3 thing, which I like, but at the same time, that's also the point of most matches in wrestling. So he was going for a lot of like quick roll-ups, didn't get it. It ended, I think, with 3 Superman punches and a spear. I think he hit like 3 FUs. There was a through the table, off the second rope. Reigns keeps out both of them.
Just looking at the table one.
And then it was like 2 or 3 Superman punches and a spear, and that was it. And then, yay, our favorite part-timer. I assume you know what happened afterwards.
Brock Lesnar.
Yay, Brock Lesnar. There was a very, very small part in time where I liked Brock Lesnar. Well, I liked seeing Brock Lesnar. Now, I'm back to just, no, don't want to see him. Don't want to see him. Like, I get the Roman Reigns is beating everybody, but this is so annoying. The problem I have with Roman Reigns, whenever he fought, like the biggest examples that happen so much, Kevin Owens. I don't remember Roman Reigns beating Kevin Owens clean in any single title match. So, he beats John Cena clean. Does that mean Kevin Owens is better than John Cena? I don't care, but now Brock Lesnar, are we saying like the only person who can fight Roman Reigns is Brock Lesnar?
I guarantee that has never been considered by them.
What?
I don't guarantee it.
The Kevin Owens thing?
Yeah, for them, like once the loss is passed, I don't even think. Like, and I've seen it happen with baby faces and heels. Yeah, with baby faces and heels, it seems that like whatever the result is, whether you cheated or not, because like, you know,
win to win.
But I've seen heels have streaks that lasted for a long time, and like they cheat every single win, right? And then after that time, the commentary, even like the good guy commentators are like, oh, prolific guy with so many wins under his belt, you know, even though every single one of those wins was cheap, and they'd be like, this guy's a legend of all time because he's WWE champ kind of thing, you know? Yeah. It's so like bullshit. Yeah.
So Brock Lesnar's back, and it doesn't make me want to watch more of WWE programming. And I guess that's the whole point of everything they do. And definitely.
Yeah. I definitely have no interest in seeing any more Brock Lesnar. He feels like I just feel there's nothing.
Have you seen Brock Lesnar come back? Have you seen what he looks like?
I'm looking at the GIF as we speak. So he's got like a little ponytail.
He's got a ponytail and a really weird beard. Now here is my completely on my own no other sources, no facts, basic theory.
Yeah.
Obviously, what we're going to talk about after this happens in AEW Rampage.
Yes.
So WWE have gone, shit, we need to bring someone back. So they brought Becky back prematurely.
Yeah.
And they brought Brock back prematurely. Here's why I think it's premature. One, as you say, Becky's just come back from having a baby. Don't put her in a match like that. Put her in a proper match. Don't bring. I reckon they rushed Brock Lesnar back because he looks like a fucking idiot. I reckon they brought him back so quickly they didn't have time to fucking shave him up because it was knee-jerk reactions to AEW. That's what I think. I could be wrong. It's no evidence, just a theory that WWE knee-jerk things, and I think that's what happened. Because I don't want to see it anymore. I would rather a screwy Roman Reigns finish than watch John Cena Roman Reigns again. Because we've arguably seen less Roman Reigns John Cena than Brock and Roman. That was what, 3 WrestleManias in a row they fought each other?
I think so.
I just don't care.
Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But yeah, I mean, like I've got like there's no like. I mean, after reviewing NXT, if you want to call that a review, we neither of us watched it, and we kind of just guessed our way through it. But there's things I want to go in there quite badly and watch. Not many things, granted, but there's a couple of things. SummerSlam, there's probably. I mean, I guess I wouldn't mind seeing Edge and Seth, but personally,
that's the only one I was thinking of. Like, that's the only one.
Yeah.
Even like.
I think that's the only one I really care about.
The thing if they told Bobby Lashley and Goldberg going like powerhouse the crap out of each other, that would be worth watching because they're just big. Even WWE fights, like it might be worth watching. But no, the only one there is Seth and Edge, and I think that's purely because of Edge's nostalgia. I don't even think that's current WWE.
Yeah. I just don't see much that really compels me to want to.
It's not compelling to watch.
So that's SummerSlam. So then on to we're probably like way over time now. So I think there's only really one thing we want to talk about on Rampage.
There's two things. Well, okay. With the last one because it's the least important. The Mox match versus John Moxley versus the other guy. Don't even know his name. But the finish I thought was really good.
John Moxley versus I gotta know this is now.
I don't know. Garcia? I don't know. Anyway.
What does he wrestle like?
I don't know. There's 3 of them. Or at least he had 2 backup. Anyway, basically the finish was somebody had Moxley in a submission hold. Yeah. And I can't remember what the submission hold was, but Moxley reversed it. Do you remember when who's that short guy Brian Kendrick? He used to have the captain's hook.
Yes.
Basically, whatever position they were in, Moxley grabbed the guy around the neck and rolled into like a captain's hook finish and submitted him with a captain's hook reversal. And it just looks really intriguing and really funny. Not funny, but like good.
I think Moxley is probably I don't know if he's not my top, but probably one of them.
He is one of your top. One of them.
He is, but yeah, one of my top wrestlers to watch at the moment. When I see Moxley or hear about something Moxley's done or doing, I am always compelled to check it out. I just think he's fucking brilliant.
I don't think it was a long match. I wouldn't take up too much time. I think it's about 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah. I just think he's amazing. I think he's one of the best promos. I think his matches are just he is not like he is like a classic roughneck style wrestler, and I love that. And I just like nothing he does is pretty. And in case I'm still frozen, I'm doing air quotes, but it is like in its roughneck style, it is pretty. You know what I mean? Like that is like good roughneck wrestling, and I just think he's like a man's man. And he's like the Austin of our era, and I just think he's fucking sick. I like Moxley, and I think coming from WWE and then coming from all of what that represented, and then going to New Japan, going into a G1, and then just having just great match after great match after great match. I don't know if he had any matches that I've seen that have been bad since he left.
He was the first one that really jumped ship. from WWE as soon as his contract was done. I think he was the first, and that set a
And
staple for him.
he was definitely one of the biggest that ever did. Like he was like he made there was Daniel Garcia, yeah.
There you go. What did I said Garcia, didn't I?
You did, yeah.
Yeah, that's half right. Yeah, that quick match is worth watching.
Okay,
so
cool.
obviously the big thing of Rampage, which even made me watch it in the day, even though I struggled, was obviously CM Punk returning. And
Yeah.
it's almost not worth talking about because it's so fucking good. Like, there's nothing stops it in years in terms of a non-match wrestling moment.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've said I make no qualms. I am not really a big CM Punk fan. Never really saw all the fuss was about personally. Not saying he's wasn't a good wrestler, but I never watched any of his that blew me away. Just the style of wrestling and what he was. I was just always a bit like, okay, it wasn't like I would never lose my mind about it. But me, yeah, this moment was immense. Like it was just immense, man. And like his promo, he's very good on the mic, obviously. That's like, silly thing to say, an obvious thing to say, but he is very fucking good on the mic. And there's a bit where he says like, "Oh, it's getting hot in here, let me take my top off." And it's like, in part, it's a little mini promo. Look at this new t-shirt I've got, and the t-shirt says in the back like I was there, And it's like, that's obviously gonna go sell crazy now, right? So you get pop for the t-shirt. Yeah. Oh man. So he gets a pop for the t-shirt, but then on that, he is warmed up, ironically. He is warmed up at that point. Like, and he starts talking about stuff. And I don't know how much of that was like, I mean, presumably it was on the fly, but he kind of knew what he was going to say. We're not talking about WWE scripted promos by any shot. But like, it felt so organic, and like, and what he was saying just felt like I believed him. Whether it was true or not, whether what he was saying was BS or not. I believed what he was saying. Like he said it with conviction. Just sick. Like when someone comes out for a return, that is a 10 out of 10. And if you want a definition of what being over or popular looks like, that's fucking it right there.
Yeah.
Incarnate.
Yeah.
And like, what more? Like you don't see many segments where it's like, you say knock it out of the park. That delivered on every measure.
Well, that's the thing.
That was amazing.
The whole point of wrestling is to draw, and especially where AEW is concerned, because with WWE they don't care about drawing anymore because their commercial revenue is so high they don't give a shit about drawing. AEW, CM Punk coming back, I actively am thinking of buying All Out. I'm actively thinking about watching and buying All Out, and that's the first time I've said that about AEW ever. Yeah, mate, and I want to know what him and Darby Allin do. That's it, simple. I want to see what match they put on.
I think that will be probably a really good match for him because Darby Allin's just wild in what he does, and he doesn't really need anybody else there to do his wild stuff because a lot of his wild stuff involves what's happening to him.
Yeah.
So like I'll stand up on this thing, you just push, and I'll do the rest. I think it's a great matchup for that reason. You've also got Sting involved in that.
I want to shout out to Darby Allin because his face paint is fucking glorious.
Like, he's got some good face paint going on.
I don't know what it's normally like, but in that Rampage when they zoomed in on him and it's like that forest and half his face, it is a work of art. And I've marveled at that every time I've watched it, and it's been a few times.
I'm a fan. I do like Darby Allin. Although I can't remember off the top of my head, is he still wearing those fucking denim hot pants? Because they need to go.
Oh, it's very unique though, isn't it? It's like
it is very unique.
Worse.
Hey, the thing is, it is very unique, and he's like super popular. So who am I to tell him not to wear him? But it's just like, I just feel like I think maybe just change the hot pants.
Like that I've watched that entrance like upwards of 10 times now, and every time I get chills from it. It was good. Like, even
Yeah.
with so much, like, at that point, it was guaranteed he was coming out. It was guaranteed. But that still doesn't diminish it in any way, shape, or form.
No, not at all. And if anything, I think that like it's good that like, I mean, can you imagine if he didn't show? Could you
There's a
imagine?
tank in AEW's popularity right now.
And it's like that is what like WWE. You can imagine them doing something like that, couldn't you? You can imagine like them
Watching something that big.
Well, they basically did. I mean, they basically did with Sasha Banks. I mean, it wasn't on the same degree, obviously, but
Yeah,
Sasha Banks not turning up. But like, it's not a million miles away from that. So
here's something that has been going through my head because I've been confused about it. You've watched promo, right?
Yeah.
Behind him, there's a flag with that T-shirt design on it, right?
Okay.
And there's actually a few T-shirts in the crowd. How does that flag get to that point without people in the crowd knowing beforehand it's happening? Or is it so obvious that they can sell that merchandise beforehand without air quotes leaking? Like,
I think it is so obvious that they can sell that merchandise beforehand without air quotes leaking because some of the stuff they did on Being the Elite and some of the stuff they did on the show was like you say, it was guaranteed. Like, you know what I mean? Like he like, I also think as well that, and I heard somebody else talk about this. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Lance Storm on a podcast, but it was basically saying that you've got, and they were talking about it from somebody else saying to them, but you've got like WWE is like a heel promotion.
Yeah.
So like the crowd are like against them. So this is why like people like Daniel Bryan and that get over, because like, oh, you're trying to fucking screw this wrestler, and we're gonna go against you.
Oh yeah.
The corporate entity to support these workers, and to like they make an enemy of the crowd. So like the crowd, and like they want the crowd to like boo and cheer what they want, and they're all like, oh, you will have Roman Reigns, and you will like Roman Reigns, you know, you will like him, and they try and ram it down the throat. Whereas like other companies seem to embrace the fans more. So like when the fans are there in the arena and they're like, oh, we're part of this, like this is something that we're a part of, I almost feel like, and I'm sure there were people, if they bought that in the arena, there probably was people that would have tweeted that out, maybe, but it didn't get leaked. Maybe it didn't, because people are like, I don't want to ruin this moment. Like the reason I'm buying this stuff, I want this to be as special as possible. So let's wait. And I feel like it's like this was something that they did that was beautiful. So do you know about the crack with Jericho and MJF, that whole 5 labors thing? Do you know about that?
Yes, I'm aware of it. I saw the one with Gage.
So this is really clever. What they did in the very last one, MJF made 2 stipulations. One of the stipulations was that there's nothing Judas related. So you can't do the Judas, whatever it's called, the elbow move.
When they came out when the entire crowd sang it?
Yeah, so he wasn't allowed to play his music, because MJF said the week before, he's like, you're not going to get your music played. No one's going to sing your song, you know, and obviously everybody knows that everyone's going to sing the song. But they're not going to play music. So they set up these moments that was reliant on the crowd. Yeah. So it's like that spot was the crowd's spot. You know, it's like, over to you, crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
And do you know what? I've seen this happen once in real life. On a chaos show, and it was Eddie Dennis who did this, and it was very cool, where they basically relied on the crowd to do something, and they didn't tell the crowd member. And there's one audience member who was at all the chaos shows, and there was I think it was Flash Morgan and Eddie Dennis having this match. And it was like there was a part of the match where Eddie Dennis is cuffed to the rings, right? No, there wasn't Flash. Sorry. It was Alex Still. So he basically cuffed Eddie Dennis to the ring, right? And then Eddie looked to this crowd member. He's like, "Help me!" And I just remember like a lot of people in the crowd are looking at this crowd member like, "What you gonna do?" And this kid is just like, "Oh," and I don't know if it was like his sister or somebody that was with them or something. but there was a couple of them, and she's trying to desperately hold him back. Don't jump over that guardrail. Like kind of harkening back to what we said before as well. You know,
Hold on, was this an actual? This is like a shoot jump rail.
Yeah, this is like chaos. Like so, like this fan had no idea this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And like Eddie's looking at him like, "Help me!" and like he got up and the spot worked, and the kiddie jumped up and actually helped get him up. Like, and the car like popped for this kiddie. And it was very funny because they knew this guy was going to do it. Like, you know, really banked on him doing this.
Yeah.
And like I think after a few minutes, the kiddie understood. Like, oh right, I get it now. I'm part of this spot.
I'm being invited in. I'm not going to get tackled by that big fucking burly security guard.
Exactly. Really good moment. And this is kind of like AEW are doing things like not like that.
No, but on the same vein.
Like relying on the crowd.
WWE will tell the crowd to do something to make the story, or at least to help with the story. Whereas AEW will build the story around the crowd doing it.
Yeah.
So the expectation isn't there, so they're more likely to do it.
Yeah, and it's on them. And like, and if it didn't
tell
happen,
them what they're going to do. Build a situation where they're going to do it.
Yes. Yeah. It's fucking brilliant. So AEW are. I just think they go from strength to strength recently. And I mean, like even in just those two moments we talked about, like that one moment, the CM Punk moment we talked about, and the Chris Jericho moment we talked about. You think about this, right? Like those two moments alone, from what we've looked at over SummerSlam and NXT, are like, as powerful, if not more powerful than those whole shows combined. You know what I mean? Like, which is crazy when you think about it.
AEW more, but put it this way: if AEW had a streaming network like WWE, I am much more likely to. I would buy both, but given a choice, I'd probably go for AEW.
Yeah, if I want like current stuff, then I'm not really interested in the network. But the network's phenomenal.
I use WWE Network for convenience. That's it.
Yeah.
It's because it's easy to use. It's there. Everything is there.
And to be fair, it is a bargain with the amount of content that is on there, and every week gets added to.
SummerSlam was 20 quid pay-per-view. I get 2 months worth of everything for that, including SummerSlam. Yeah.
It's mad that some people even still buy pay-per-view. That just blows my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is our wrestling review.
That's the weekend.
Immensely.
That's the weekend
review.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What a week of wrestling.
I think that's probably enough for our viewers.
I think at this point we're on an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh yeah, longest one ever.
Yeah.
But pretty good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully we can sort out recording and cameras at some point properly, so we can start getting some actual visuals on.
Yeah.
Because I think at the moment we work much better from an audio standpoint. From a visual standpoint, we're horrendous. From a visual standpoint, we're 1 out of 10 at best.
We're not good from visual standpoint. We're still being on the scoreboard.
But yeah, well, let's draw this to a close then. I think we've used up enough time. So yeah, this has been me, Leon C, and this has been him, Chris P, and this has been Default Tangent.
Goodbye.
See you next time. Goodbye.